Life shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good whenever it is that you're joining us. Welcome to Join Up Dots. Yes, and I'm David Ralph, and today we're stepping onto the battlefield. Yeah, I hope you've got your boots laced up tight and your coffee or your pint of whiskey or whatever gets your heart racing sitting right next to you, because today we're really going to start moving on to how to get rich. Now, if you've been following this series, we've spent the last 6 episodes playing a very sort of tight, disciplined game of defense. We've been looking at your mindset. We've been looking at plugging the leaks in your bank account. We've looked at convenience and spending on convenience. In the last episode, we took a cold, hard look at what you've already got in your locker. But listen to me clearly. You can't win a match just by stopping the other team from scoring. At some point, you've got to actually run down the pitch and put the ball in the back of the net. And this is what this episode's about. We've talked about awareness. We've talked about the rich thinking filter. We've talked about the fact that your money has to start working for you. But how do you get that money to start with? If you're sitting there with a job that barely covers the rent, or a business that's sort of flatlining, you need a wealth engine. And today we transition from saving to creating. We're moving really firmly into phase 2 of this series. And it all starts with one concept that is going to change the way you look at the world every time you walk out the front door. And it's what I call the utility dot. Now, you might be saying, but David, what is the utility dot? Well, most people fail at getting rich or getting to the level of income that they want because they're looking for the golden ticket. They're looking for the lightning bolt of inspiration, and they want to be the next Steve Jobs, but most people aren't going to be. And also, Steve Jobs didn't start by changing the world. He started by solving a problem for people who wanted to use a computer but didn't want to learn code. He provided utility, and that is where we're going today, okay? Now, I get emails every single day from people all over the world, and they all say the same thing, or basically the same thing. David, I want the freedom, I want the lifestyle, but I don't have a world-changing idea. And I say to literally all of them, well, thank God for that. Because if you're waiting for a world-changing idea, you're going to be waiting until they're basically putting you in a box and lowering you into the ground. Because you don't need a world-changing idea to get rich. You need a problem-solving one. And over the last decade, we've spoken time and time again about the real gold being in the non-sexy businesses, okay? The utility dot is the specific skill, knowledge, or knack that you already possess right now, that someone is willing to pay you to solve. And it's the thing you do where people say, oh, you're so good at that, and you just kind of shrug it off because it feels easy to you. If it's easy for you and they're amazed at it, then there's a commercial opportunity, and that's a dot waiting to be joined up. We're not looking for the passion yet. Passion is what you do on a Sunday afternoon when the bills are paid. Utility, the non-sexy stuff, is what pays the bills. Now, if you think about, say, a local plumber, does he have a world-changing idea? Does the local DIY decorator person? No, he has a paintbrush, or he has a wrench, and he has the knowledge of how to put wallpaper up or how to stop a leak. And when your kitchen is flooding at 3 a.m, is he a hero? You bet your life he is. And you're paying whatever he asks because he has high utility in that moment. He can solve that problem. Wealth is simply the byproduct of providing value to another human being. And if you aren't rich yet, it's simply because you haven't identified how you are useful to the market. And we're going to, as I say, look at that today. We're going to look at your skills, not as hobbies, but as solutions. Now, through all the episodes of Join Up Dots, I know that people say, David, I've looked at my life and I'm just not seeing it. I don't think I have a utility dot. And first of all, there's no such thing as normal people. There are only people who haven't realised how skillful they are. But if you are struggling to find your own dot, I'm going to give you a shortcut. I'm going to give you a map to a gold mine that most people spend their lives digging through without ever realising there's a gold just lying under their fingernails, just waiting for them to touch it. I want you to go to where the world goes to moan. The moaners. And we all know where they are. I want you to go to the forums. I want you to go to the Facebook groups. I want you to go to Reddit. Now, normally I'd tell you to stay away from these places because they're just cesspits, really. But if you're there to consume, most of them just drain your soul. But we aren't going there to consume. We're going there as wealth detectives, because every single moan you see on a Facebook group is actually a business plan in disguise. Why is it so hard to, or does anyone know a way to? It's a cry for help. And where there's a cry for help, there's a utility dot waiting to be claimed. Now, think about the local community groups on Facebook. You know, the ones where the residents of your town or whatever, or what's happening in Chicago groups. What do people do there? They moan. I've called 5 gardeners this morning and no one's called me back. That is the utility reliability. Could you become that? Do you know a gardener who would love the extra work and you can actually market those people to him? Is there anywhere that does healthy gluten-free lunches for kids? Niche catering. Could you actually start doing that? Could you look at that and think, okay, I'm going to research this and start actually creating these lunches myself? If you go to a forum related to a hobby, and especially a hobby that you've got, look for the questions that get asked over and over again, and you'll see a beginner pop in and ask a question, and the experts in the forum will sort of like just, oh God, why don't you just check the FAQs? You know, we've answered this 1,000 times. But you're not going to. You're going to look at that and say, if the question's been answered 1,000 times and people are still asking it, it means the current answer is either too complicated or just plain rubbish. And that's your invitation to create a simple guide or a service that solves it. See what we're saying? Reddit's the same. Go to subreddits like our productivity or our small business and look for the threads with 500 comments of people all saying, I have this problem too, or I'm moaning about something, or whatever. You know, when you see a crowd of people all jumping on a problem, and normally somebody makes a moan and then someone says, oh yeah, I know, I've got that thing, and it's a big pile-on. That's the market telling you exactly what they want to buy. The moaners have already done the market research for you. You don't need to guess. See how powerful this is? Now, here's the Join Up Dots truth that most people won't tell you. You don't need a website. You certainly don't need a business card. You don't need a fancy logo. All you need is a person with a problem and a way for them to pay you. And most people, I think, use setting up a business as a way to stop doing anything because they think it's too complicated. So they spend 3 months picking the right shade of blue for their logo because they're actually terrified of actually asking someone for money and solving that problem. You're not going to be that person. You're going to make it as simple as possible. And remember, if you find the niche, you don't have to do it yourself. You just have to find somebody who can actually do that. And the world is full of businessmen and tradesmen that are scrabbling around because they don't know marketing. They don't know how to get their name out. They're not going to be as proactive as you. So find your utility dot. And let's say, for example, like we said in another podcast episode, it's helping people organise their home offices. Don't go and build a brand. Go to your friend or your neighbour and say, I noticed your office is a bit of a disaster. I have a knack for this. Let me spend 2 hours fixing it. And if you love the result, pay me £50. If you don't, it's free. And that is validation. And that is the moment the dots join. When that first person hands you cash for something you've created from your own skills or something in your brain, life changes. Honestly, life will change because you realise you aren't a victim of the economy anymore. You aren't dependent on a boss to tell you what you're worth. You are the economy. You're a value creator, and you'll start seeing utility dots everywhere. We're building an engine here, guys. This isn't just a podcast, it's a blueprint. We got the fuel from the previous episodes, and now we're building the pistons. Your homework for today, and yeah, I'm giving you homework because listening without doing it is just entertainment, and I'm not here in this series to entertain you. I'm here to change your life, is to identify 3 utility dots. Go to those Facebook groups, go to those forums, look for the Moaners, write them down. I don't care if they seem small. Ask 3 people this week, what's the one thing that really, really drives you mad? And also, what's the one thing I do that you find really impressive or helpful? And those answers will probably surprise you. And once you find that utility dot, we have a new problem. We have to make sure you don't fall into the consultant trap. You don't want to just trade your life away for money in a different way. We have to make it scale. And that is exactly what we're diving into in the next episode. Stop selling time and start selling results, because we're going to take that utility dot and we're going to turn it into a machine that works even when you're sleeping. Find your dot, listen to the frustrations around you, look for the friction, and as always, remember that the only way to join up those dots is to keep moving forward and actually taking action. Okay? So start doing your research. Start taking real life action. Don't be one of these people that just listens and doesn't do anything, because all the rich people in life are the ones that have actually made something happen for themselves. It all comes down to action. So if you enjoyed this podcast episode, please share it with somebody who needs it. Please make sure that you subscribe, rate and review. That really, really helps us. And we are going to be coming to you very shortly with the next episode. And as we say, it's going to be stop selling time and start selling results, so that you can start building your life into a money-making machine. And that is how you get rich. Until next time, we'll see you again. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.
Waking up.